Yeah. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order at 12:01 p.m. And the first matter of the agenda is nomination and motion for a chair of the budget committee for these proceedings. Do we have a motion?
I move Steve.
I second.
Okay,
We
I
have
got
a
it.
motion and a second that Steve be the chair for this budget meeting. Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
You are on.
We normally ask if you'll accept the position, but since you said aye also, I think that's perfect.
Well, I checked in with you visually. You weren't shaking your head vehemently or
Yeah,
anything.
it doesn't matter to me. So.
Okay, wonderful. We appreciate that, and then I will hand over this meeting to you.
All righty, well, it says here approval of May 10th, 2022 minutes. So I have not seen them, so.
And I have, so I perused them earlier and didn't see any issues. I would move approval of the minutes as presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
I will second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Budget presentation. Is somebody gonna take us through the budget? Okay.
So, this budget portrays the expected financial performance of the 4-H, or Tillamook County 4-H and Extension Service District for fiscal year 2023-24, and shows the operations of the district. The Extension Agency for Tillamook County is operated in conjunction with Oregon State University and Extension Advisory Committee. The district was approved by voters in February 1986 and has a tax rate of 69 cents per thousand as assessed value. The proposed budget is.
So is that is that
Oh,
6.9
sorry, yes,
cents?
I read that.
Not 6.9
Yes,
cents?
in
Okay,
your reading,
I
yes,
just want to make sure.
0.69
Thank you.
cents.
Very healthy budget.
Thank you.
Wish the county had that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I appreciate that. The proposed budget is balanced between total resources and requirements as required by local budget law. The budget contains a general fund for operations and a building reserve fund to maintain capacity for future expansion and facility improvement. The budget proposes that the district's full permanent tax rate be imposed to obtain property taxes necessary to balance the budget. In our general fund resources, the proposed cash on hand is important to our budget to allow us to operate for the first part of the year before fall tax revenues are received. Other significant resources include prior year taxes, interest, and timber sales. The taxes necessary to balance resource assumes 90% of the taxes levied will be collected in the budget year. General fund expenditures under personnel services, as proposed, personnel services decreased by 16% from the previous year. This proposed budget includes operating with an administrative office manager, 1 FTE, 1 office specialist, 2 position at 1 FTE, 1 4-H administrative programs support specialist at 1 FTE, 1 Juntos program outreach coordinator, 0.33 FTE, Master Gardener Small Farms educational program assistant at 0.5, and $6,000 for summer internship support. Materials and services are budgeted at $258,625. This is an increase of 2% from the previous year, with increases coming in from our projected salaries, operating expenses, public relations, and program support. Oh, the order line item, that part needs to be removed. That was from last year. We moved the Juntos program into salaries. Capital outlay, this year we proposed to transfer $3,000. We're gonna scratch that.
Capital outlay?
Yep.
Scratched, okay.
our general operating contingency, is approximately 10% of the total budget. The unappropriated, checking these. Yes.
Oh, that's correct.
Okay. The unappropriated ending balance of $324,929 is proposed to ensure an adequate cash balance in FY 2023-24. And the building reserve fund,
533.3.
533,
Yeah.
533,300 in our building reserve fund for future expansion and facility improvement.
That's for yours. He does the majority of the work. I just get appointed as budget officer through the county, but Kim and Wiley do the work and our budget to work with.
So just a question. Payroll was down quite a bit. Is it one less person or what happened?
What happened there? Yes, one less person, that we've had on staff for a little bit. Then there's some transition that will have some, salaries. The small farms, master gardener coordinator, is not a position at this current point, so.
So that person was brought on with a deal previously made to the county. And the handshake we have and should be following is those positions should be state funded. And so that, when that person went off, that person moved to another job, that brought back that salary savings. And right now, in the package that we do have, San 19 of that program here, is asking for funding from the legislature. Of course, everybody else is asking funding in their projects too, but is asking for a state-funded small farm domestic gardening program leader. However, in that interim, we have Dakota Logger, who's back behind us. You know him from the great work he does in 4-H. He is stepping in to provide leadership to the Master Gardener program, which is a program of volunteers, and he does it so expertly and adroitly with our 4-H volunteers. He's kind of paralleling his skill sets with that program, and so we're supporting him in that effort until we get a permanent state funded solution. So that realizes the salary savings. That was the main thing you see.
So where it's listed here in the general fund expenditures under personnel services, master gardener and small farms education program assistant 0.5 FTE will not be going forward?
So we have a temporary appointed master gardener volunteer who is assistant to help with the copying and setting up of classes and stuff like that. But she's not quite working that 0.5, just as needed throughout the year.
And if we do get a state-funded person that will fully occupy that position at 1.0 FTE, we'll make that assessment at that time. But since we haven't had anybody, we brought in a temporary position.
Okay. And then on the actual budget where it lists your FTEs, it shows 4. So is that, I guess I'm trying, honestly, I'm just trying to reconcile in my head the 4 FTE, which is on page 1 of the budget, with what was in the narrative and what you said, so that I'm just clear what the FTE is.
So we have 3 at full-time, and then we've got the intern, Juntos and the 0.5, and so we put that as one full.
We would like to carry her, or her appointment can go into the fall, so she can help out at fair, she can help out at some of the projects, so that would carry her past the 30th of June. So we can carry a temp up through the end of November, so we do have her in there. But again, if we get a permanent position that's state funded, wouldn't carry her past November.
Right.
But we need to include that. Otherwise, it would be a
Okay, got it, thank you. So it's that part of that person that's making it up to it?
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. I was just like, trying to add it with my head, it's not adding up in my head. Thank you.
You know, I always look for things that were different from the past. And on number 5, on LD 11, it's 25, and they've been running 200 the last couple of years. And I assume that that is just a different way of handling, because cash on hand is a couple hundred higher than that. So I was just curious.
What were you looking at?
On LB 11, I just, usually when I look at these, I go through the things that are different from the past. And cash on hand is a couple $100,000 higher. Transferred in from other funds is a couple hundred lower, basically. It's 25,000 instead of 200. So I was just curious.
So we could talk to that. We have been discussing, what is the purpose of these funds and what is the intent? And there are different ways to sort of store and hold that cash on hand. And right now, I can't tell you a good vision or purpose for that fund that would necessitate us to continue to put more in there versus having it in a contingency or a reserve. So we've reduced the funds going into that until we have a clear vision or a more compelling need to do so. So it was a deliberate discussion and not, so it's not a math error.
No, I was just curious as to, it was different.
And there's also a fund that we had been contributing to over a maintenance fund for the building that we jointly occupy with TBCC. And we talked about that fund hasn't been used, or there's some discussion we need to have for the use there. So we've talked about the levels of contribution and what the purpose is. So we're kind of trying to make an assessment of where we're putting money and what's the intent for that. And salary and programming is the best place for your money every day. Employing people to do great things and the programs that they should do them through. And so we want to have the best flexibility to do that.
So along the same lines as Steve, I also look for differences. So I noticed since the 2021, we're talking about the beginning fund balance. Every year it seems to be going down. Proposed the beginning fund balance for this year is $574,921, and yet the proposed ending fund balance for this next fiscal year is $324,929. Is that a concern at this point? So I'm starting at the top of the first budget page, beginning balance. 2020, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24. And then the proposed ending fund balance for the 23, 24 is $324,929. So the cash available at the beginning of each fiscal year seems to be going down. So I'm just wondering if that's of concern too.
It is one of the few things that keeps me up at night, and we see that in every county with a service district.
Okay.
And what has happened, it's the same things that impacts yours, especially in Oregon, the way our tax structures are set up. Our personnel costs, just with OPE and the costs associated and inflation, outrun your ability to put homes on the ground and assess property value on those. So this is not just the past few years. I've looked back a decade and seen this, and I see it in every county. And I had all 6 of my office managers do what I call a doomsday budget. If we don't change anything, at what point do we go underwater? And they didn't like it. They made me change the name of that spreadsheet.
I wouldn't like that either.
But I think the point got across. What we do end up seeing is, so we do have money that we're putting into contingencies or reserves. We will not, again, keep people employed and commit to programming. We end up committing money in buckets towards, let's say, printing and mailing, or vehicle use, or travel, that invariably our expenses don't don't rise to what we projected, and so that does come as a savings. We do have some personnel costs that were committed to a couple of years ago before Kim got on board, that I am trying to get us out from under, that I believe should be borne by the state and not the county. And that's something that can help, I'm not gonna say that will survive a decade, but it'll at least be a bridging strategy until we find the next strategy. I mean, that's really what we're doing. We're just bailing out the boat until we can find more buckets. And I think every county finds themselves in that position. So I am worried, but I'm not pulling an alarm.
Okay. And Sean, I know that you've been involved in the property tax portion. I know our property tax assessments are going up more greater than the 3% because there's a lot of building going on. So those new numbers, projections are calculated in these property taxes.
So, just out of curiosity, timber fund timber revenue is going down. A lot.
So I'm chair of the Council of Forest Trust Land Counties, and yes, we're running into a problem with the HCP and the new IP's implementation plans. However, we're ending this fiscal year about where we should be. Moving forward, I've told Neocon School District this, I've told Tillamook School Board this, that it's a cautionary tale as we look further into the future. Not the 23-24 budget, the 24-25 and the 25-26 budgets. That's when we need to be very careful about what we're proposing to get from timber revenue. We need to keep a very close eye on it. So thank you for that question.
Yes, it's been really volatile. I sent out projections here a couple weeks ago, and I don't know where ODF is coming up with their numbers, what they say. They say we're supposed to get, with the projections and then the tax distributions, Tillamook County itself should be receiving $2 million more than what they projected last year, but we received $2 million less than what they projected last year.
Really?
If I had gone based on their numbers to look at the county's budget, so I'm always wary of what they're sending us.
Compared to Neocon School District, Corey's is lucky that you don't get that much timber revenue, even though it's nice to get the timber revenue, absolutely. But areas like Tillamook School District, Neocon School District, they're going to be on the road. They are.
Any questions from those online? Just not.
Silence.
No.
I think budget officer detail we've done. So I guess we're up to a motion to approve the budget and the levy, the ad valorem rate of 6.9 cents per 1,000.
0.069.
Yep.
We'll take the other. but-
Yep, I knew that, it was just written here, 6.9, so I read it, so.
Put cards on that.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the budget and levy the ad valorem rate of 6.9 cents per one. No,
0.06.
0.069 cents per.
That's typo.
no, I know, so
0.069.
0.069, that's 6.9 cents. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's $0.069, which is 6.9
Oh,
cents.
the dollar instead of the cents,
That was
okay,
missing.
sorry.
Okay.
Let me do this again. Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the budget and levy the ad valorem rate of 6.9, that is correct, 6.9 cents per $1,000 valuation.
So it's actually written in here, right?
Okay.
Yes, okay,
It is.
okay.
This just sounds really high.
$0.069.
Dollars, okay.
Which is equal to 6.9 cents.
Okay.
Yeah, math, are anybody ready to do math?
Well, it says we'll take the 69 cents, right?
There was a motion, I will second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any questions before we vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you very much. That is all I
Wow,
have.
that's
Do I
quick.
adjourn?
I know, don't go.
Wish the county budget would go this quickly.
Oh, if only, right?
Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for
thanks
coming over.
for being here for this short little meeting, but it's important, it is important stuff.
You know, I want to say before everybody leaves, just how much we appreciate the extension programs here. The 4-H and Juntos in particular are outstanding programs. And we hear from people all the time, and it's our personal experience that we are very lucky to have Dakota and Nat working in those programs, and they're, you know, to have Kim working in the office. And I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Hi, I'm Sherry, I'm new.
Hi, Sherry, welcome.
Sherry's our new front office specialist, she's the office specialist, so she's the face of extension right when you walk in the door.
Wonderful. Nice to meet you, Sherry.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, we're just, we're really lucky to have these good folks working in the community and doing the things they're doing, so thank you.
It is important work.
We appreciate your support. Thank you, Steve.
So I think we're
Oh,
adjourned.
yeah, there you go. If you say we're on, it's
I love it, that's great.
So, Sean, we wanted to have a conversation with you and I before.
Okay.
Yeah.